Good morning. It's Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Remembering How I Was, a family podcast. We talk about things that we grew up with and how we saw them, and we hope it sparks your memories and the things that you saw, and maybe had discussions with your kids, grandkids, all your loved ones about how you handle things and what you did. And I'm joined with my partner in crime, my sister.
Wambui Bahati. I'm here in New York City, and we have Joel with us today. Introduce yourself, brother.
My name is Joel Washington. I'm here in Greensboro, North Carolina also.
So we are a family of four. The person who's missing is my oldest sister, our firstborn in the family, Roberta Washington. She's not with us, but we're going to get her on real soon too. Okay, so we're just happy, first of all, that Joel is joining us for the first time on the podcast. And so we have a lot of catching up to do because we've missed a lot of his memories and his stories. And so as we go forward, we're going to try to have his input as well, because I was born in 1950. Justin, you were born in 57?
1957.
And Joel, you were born in
52.
52. Okay, so we have a lot of memories and a lot of stories that we want to share from growing up in Greensboro. And so we had chose a topic for today. Each week we choose a topic. Our topic today was recreation, or as I like to say, fun and games. And we want to start off by talking about fun and games, recreation, what we did for fun, how we played. And of course, a lot of things have changed since our childhood, because now, of course, you got to factor into the technology and all of that stuff. But we had a whole different life going on without that technology. We didn't know nothing about no computer, no iPad, no cell phone. We were out in the yard. And one of my favorite things to do, and don't worry, I'm going to let somebody else speak too, but one of my favorite things to do was to play games in the yard, just those yard games that travel down from generation to generation. 1, 2, 3, red light, and Mother May I, or please, Simon Says, that type of thing. I love playing church, which was, some people had some feelings about that, but I loved playing church. I loved playing school. I played these games on my steps in my front yard and in my backyard. And when I was very young, I remember just loving to play games where I got to imitate adults. And one of my favorite things to do was to go in the backyard and make mud pies. I would cook all the stuff that I saw my mother cook the way she cooked it, only mine was made of dirt and water. But to me, at that moment, it was real food. Okay, so what are some of your memories? We'll start over first at Justin. We're going to go to Joel, or just jump in.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you about a memory with the mud pies. I remember playing, and I ate some dirt, ate a bunch of dirt, and it wasn't like life threatening or anything. But I remember Roberta, her remedy for me eating the dirt was she was shoving cookies down my throat. She made me eat these cookies like that was the remedy. That was the remedy, and I just, man, it was okay, but I was like, man.
Like, I think because she ate the dirt,
I got it.
She felt like, okay, now the remedy to this is you need to eat something real. Get some real food in there so that dirt won't take over. Force fed him the cookies. So just, Joel, what's going on? When you were little, what are some things? And we got a picture. We have shared a picture of you with your Mickey Mouse ears.
Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Remember, we always stuck together. I mean, we all took pictures together. So,
yeah. Remember that branch, Joel, in the backyard? We thought it was like a forest.
Right.
And now, as an adult, you look at it, you see it's like just some little weeds. Yeah. But it seemed like,
But we called it the creek. We called it the creek.
Yeah.
You called it the creek. For some reason, I called it the branch. Why did I call it the branch? I don't know. The branch. But it was like, I thought people could be hiding in there. Giants could be in there. Oh, and it's like, it don't even come up to here. The bushes don't even. No. Did you ever? So Justin was saying if you follow the path, it would go all the way to Douglas Park. See, I was never brave enough.
Right. No, I wasn't either. So I stood around. I was mostly a homebody.
Mostly.
What?
That was an
Yeah,
adventure.
man.
But I remember my old man, the basement we had wasn't finished,
Oh,
but I was gonna dig a hole to try to go to next door. I was gonna dig a hole.
yeah.
I
I
See,
remember that.
task every
I see. I always thought somebody at my school told us about China. I don't know where I got the idea that if you dug a hole, you could actually, if you dug far, you could come out in China. So I was always starting
but
a hole because I was trying to get to China. I thought you could dig a hole.
but but you know that whole it was a television show came up back in the day, Hogan's Heroes, and they always had tunnels.
right.
Is that was that it, Joel? They always had
Yeah,
tunnels. And I
yeah,
remember you had a tunnel. You tried to dig that tunnel in the backyard. I mean, in the basement, and you
yeah.
also you try to dig a tunnel back in the woods.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
you was trying to escape.
you were
I
you
was
were
gonna
building
escape.
tunnels. So,
Somebody
but
came.
okay, I think we had this we our house had a basement, but it was what they called an unfinished basement, meaning the floor in the basement was dirt. It was pure dirt. There was no, and the walls were just the cinder block walls that were.
Yeah.
So it was a space that if you fixed it up and brought in all this construction, it could be a nice basement. But it wasn't. It was just a dirt floor. But we kept it was storage right down there. We kept our
Yeah, it
bicycles
was
in
open. It
there.
was open. It was open door. It was
Open.
open door. Yeah,
It was open door, and we
yeah.
kept our bicycles. My father
Yeah,
had a little work bench in
yeah.
there, and it was pretty spooky when I think about it. But we
Oh,
loved
it's funny.
playing in there.
You had
Just
to get
loved
used
playing in
to
there. Yeah,
it. You get used to it. It was
yeah.
nice. I finished it
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It
I
was all.
wood and
It
stuff.
was. It was an adventure. It was an adventure
Yeah,
going to the back of the basement.
Oh,
That was the
that was
spooky part.
scary just to go to the
that was
back
the
because
part.
that took a lot of nerve to walk through that because it was yeah it was like when you think of because I would go to we started going to parties later on where people had these finished basements. Everybody said the party's gonna be in my basement or come listen to some music in my basement. We're gonna be dancing in the basement, but it wasn't like our basement.
Oh,
Our basement was pretty messed up.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna take it outside for us recreation. I remember because I was like much younger than everybody else. I remember Joel and his crew, they used to get these pieces of boards and they would take the
yeah,
skates apart. Remember the skate keys? They would
yeah.
take the skates apart and they would nail the parts of the skates to the boards and they would make skateboards and they were functional skateboards. And they
Yes, yes,
take turns
yeah,
trying to kill themselves. Yeah.
yeah. Well, what about go karts? I remember one of y'all or
Yeah.
both of y'all
Oh,
The
had
first go,
go kart would build these little go karts that were so dangerous, but
but I was in a race, the go kart race. Roberta helped me build the go kart. We went
yeah.
down,
He
and
was
even though I lost when I was in the race, I still got that
it
booklet.
was it,
like somebody like it was an organization having
Yeah,
a race, and you
it
built
was
a
a
go kart.
derby.
yeah. I think
It was
Chevy
a
they
derby.
bought all my material and everything. So I had Roberta had to build, show me how to build and everything. So I don't know how we got down to the where we were supposed to race at.
Because we didn't have a car,
Yeah.
right?
No, it was called a go-kart derby or something like that. Yeah, you had this thing that looked like a rocket ship and
Yeah,
you get
yeah,
down in it real low. You get
yeah.
real low and whatever happens happens. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
a
remember
while.
you and Daddy working on that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, Roberta, she did the when she was off there, she put the final touches on it. But I raced in it, but I lost. But I was still in it. So,
But you were in it. You had your go kart. Yeah.
but one of my
But
fun memories when we had those Justin talking about the skateboards. We used to make skateboards. I remember Marty Shanks. He got on the skateboard. And he's going down the hill. We saw this car coming. We was yelling for Marty to get out of the way. He didn't get out of the way and hit. He
oh
all
man,
the Marty went
man,
from
we are some blessed kids, right? Because
yeah.
we just did so
No,
many things that
no,
today we would cringe if we saw somebody.
no.
co-
But let me get in on that because that thing because I was a little kid running around and I remember when it happened the car flipped him and he
Yeah.
said and everybody was saying like Well, he said he could do a flip.
Oh no.
He did a got all scarred up and everything.
He had a broke his leg.
Yeah, I remember something got broke. I didn't see it happen, but I remember he got kind of banged up.
Yeah.
But he lived to tell the tale.
He left.
Yes.
Good time.
So, like when I go see my grandchildren today and they want me to see them ride their bikes and come to the park with them, it's like these people got these elbow guards, shoulder guards, knee guards, helmet. It's like we didn't have any of that. We just went for it. We just went for it. It's like, and we just would get banged up, and some of us, like me, would cry, run home, and then as soon as we felt better, go back and do it all over again.
Now, I'm not gonna call the name no, but because this is funny to me. Because I remember my man was a daredevil. I remember one day I'm sitting on the front porch, and he comes flying down Omaha Street, coming down that hill. Remember that hill coming off Omaha Street, Joel?
Yeah.
And he ran the stop sign and crashed into a car. He flew one way, the bike flew the other way, and I remember I ran next door to his house, knocking on the door. He got hit by a car. He got hit by
Oh no.
Somebody
He
did.
was- I was like, I just being the youngest, I got to witness a lot.
Well, we were tough. We were tough kids, and also now, right? What I know now, we were just somebody that was watching over us because we
I
were just.
remember one incident when I think I had to be in the play at church, and I got on the table. I was Superman. Mama said, "Get down, you're gonna hurt yourself." I said, "Superman." I flew off the table, bust my lip. She said, "You still gonna be a."
You still going? That's not gonna get you out of it. I remember one time you were running with you had a jar full of marbles,
Oh Lord.
and the marbles were in a glass jar,
Yes.
and you were
Yeah.
running with that. And I think Mama had always warned you about that too. That marbles in that glass jar, and you fell one day and wow, glass marbles, But
Yeah.
This episode is supposed to be about recreation, but that was a form of our recreation.
Yes.
Watching us take a dip, take a fall.
Well, and bicycles were huge. Bicycles was a big part of our. That was like next to a bride doll. The bicycle was the best Christmas gift I ever got. It was always about a bicycle. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we could ride around the block. Like I wouldn't today. A kid can't really ride around a block because you don't know the people's mindsets. Everything is kind of changed. But yeah, we used to ride far. We used to ride farther than a block. We could ride around the whole neighborhood, many blocks around, and without a helmet, without any kind of guards, and it was like all good. And yeah.
And I remember Joel and his guys. They taught me how to put the playing card on the spoke to make it sound like a machine. You take a clothespin and a playing card. Yeah, so them guys. So I did it. Them guys did it. So I did it. That was wild. That was good.
Remember trying to start a fire with a magnifying glass? Did y'all ever try that? I remember because I remember that white guy that lived across the street, Ricky, came over on Saturday, and I remember us all standing around with a magnifying glass because we had seen somebody on TV start a fire with a magnifying glass. So we were gonna. I was trying to start that fire. The sun had to hit it just right.
I did that. I tried it many times. I used to I tried to burn ants up. I put the magnifying glass over the ant.
And summertime lightning bugs. Some people call them fireflies, but we call them lightning bugs. Lightning bugs, catching them, putting them in. You were a good one for that one too, Joel. You used to like. He liked jars. He liked putting things in jars. He put lightning bug, but then we would put a holes in the cap though to make sure because we were not cruel people.
No.
Y'all wasn't. You guys wasn't. I used to catch the bumblebees. All those bumblebees, the little plants we had with the bumblebees. I would catch the bone beats in the jar, and I have the. This is what I did. The holes were in top of the jar, but I used to. I was. This is cruel. I used to shake
You
it up, and I would tell them. Now in my mind, I was like, this is the space program. This is what the astronauts have to go
you
through.
see
Then I
you
shake.
shouldn't even admit that.
Then I would let them out. I would let them out, and just they would be drunk. That was self entertainment for me, man.
But
There's a lot of fun though, doing different crazy
we
stuff.
had a good time at Douglas Park. That was our park, right?
Our
Douglas Park.
park, what's they call
Yep.
that thing?
That merry-go-round thing.
Yeah, you got on there. But
Oh,
nowadays,
that was sick. That was so dangerous. I had a love-hate relationship with that thing. I hated it, but I loved it. Oh man.
but, but
What we're talking about for the people, if you're talking about that little circle thing, had little
yeah,
handles at
hold on,
different intervals, and you would
right.
just, somebody would have to be on the ground and
Push.
run, and push it, and you would just spin on that thing, and oh my God, you were just holding on for dear life. Oh my God.
Oh,
But
I've
nowadays
I've
the
seen
kids,
kids fly off. I've seen kids fly off that
I
thing.
saw someone fly off that one day. It wasn't pretty.
but
What you
nowadays the
say,
kids
Joe?
has a pass on the ground, so if they fall, you catch them. And we didn't have no pass anything on the ground.
Yes,
No pass,
these
no
these
pass.
uh these playgrounds today, they're
Yeah.
padded. They're cheating. They have pads on the ground. But what were some of the other games? I was
But
talking
I'm gonna throw.
a
I
little
want to
while
throw
ago. I
something
was
out.
talking about when we used to play the TV character games, like taking
Okay.
turns being Superman or Clark.
I tried.
Lois Lane. We would take turns playing the characters that we saw on TV, and of course, but y'all used to play cowboys and Indians. Y'all had
Yep.
cowboys,
Good
which
stuff. Yeah.
today I don't know. They might say that's not politically correct, but we all had a cowboy outfit. We all had
I had
we all had a little gun with holster,
right.
and with a holster. We loved being cowboys and Indians, and I don't know if kids are allowed to do that anymore. I don't think the gun part is a part of it anymore,
No.
but it was all very innocent, and
Right.
Oh,
we
that
were
was so.
just running and playing and protecting our territory.
You know what? I'm thinking like we played Cowboys Indians like it was going out of style, but what would they play now? They don't go outside. What do they play? What do they play now? I mean, I'm going back because we don't have the answers, but like we played Cowboys Indians, we played soldiers, we played this.
Right.
I don't know what they do now. They just stand and look at
Video
each other.
game. Yeah.
Well,
Video.
my grandchildren live near a park, a couple of parks, and a playground. So their parents do make them go to the playground because the kids today do want their screen time. They want the TV. They want to do things on computers. They want to do things on iPads. And they want to do things on phones. Like my granddaughter doesn't have a phone. She's 9. She doesn't have a phone. But she found an old phone that was in the house. And she walks around acting like she's taking pictures when she goes out. And her father gets very annoyed
Yeah.
with her for doing that, acting
But
like she
the
has
thing
a
was,
phone. So, but it's not. It doesn't even.
yeah,
It's
but
not even hooked up to anything.
we were action heroes.
Yes, we were
We
action
were action
heroes.
heroes. And just like one thing I was about to say about the park, and I don't, the generation now that calls themselves from Douglas Park, they know nothing about. There was a swimming pool in Douglas Park, and as I talk to people at times, that young guys say, "I'm from Douglas Park." I say, "Do you remember the swimming pool?" No, Joel, you
I
remember the
don't
swimming
remember
pool?
the swimming pool. Was it always there?
It was there for many years. It's the whole thing's out of the ground now, but I swam in that pool. I remember being in that pool, and
You
Douglas Park
remember?
was
You
real.
remember a pool, Joel, in Douglas Park?
Like the baby, I remember a pool. Yeah.
We used to go to Windsor Center. That's where we used.
No,
Yeah.
Winston Swinter had a pool, but we had a pool in Douglas Park.
See,
Yeah. I remember.
I never knew that either. I
Yeah,
don't
we had a
remember
pool
that
in
either.
Douglas Park. When the park would
Yeah.
open in the summertime, because the camp people would come down and they would set up the boxes full of all the games, toys,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the pool was we had a small pool in Douglas Park. But I
Oh
remember
wow, I totally missed
people
that.
trying to I remember people trying to jump that pool where they try to jump the creek, and I seen people miss the creek.
Okay.
Uh, We see people try to jump the creek with the bikes, and people would jump into the pool with the bikes. But for many years, the pool just became a big hole in the ground. But it was a pool, because me and people talk about that all the time. It was a pool in Douglas Park.
I missed that totally, but
Yeah,
then I wouldn't
yeah.
have been interested because to this day I don't know how to swim, and I never. I wished I
It wasn't
did. I
big enough
wish I had
swimming.
learned,
It wasn't big enough to swim in.
but I used to go down to. I used to go in the pool
Right.
at Windsor Community Center, but I didn't know
Yeah,
how to swim. But I liked going in the pool. But
yeah.
that's what I remember. I remember I didn't really hang out at Windsor Center till I was older. Actually, much older did I go to Windsor Center. Remember, wasn't there a lady named Miss Williamson who was like in charge of that? Well, maybe, but see, we're in different years, so maybe
Different years.
so. But I
Different
remember
years.
when it was time to go home, she wouldn't say anything, but she'd put this record on the loudspeakers, and it would be, "It's time to go now," and then that would just play that song. That would be your signals, like you ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. But she would just play that song, and you knew, okay, they're saying it's time to go. I think it was a Gladys Knight tune or something. It's like, it's time to go now. It really has been
But
great, but it's time to go now. Go now.
what I remember about Windsor Center is the Chavis Library that was across the street. We used to go to Windsor Center. We used to walk from Douglas Park, or our neighbor, my guys, we used to walk down there, and we get to the library. The center would open maybe at 5 or 6 o'clock, but we get there early, and we'd cold outside, so we go inside the library, and there was a window where you could get a magazine, and you could kind of look, and you just sit there, act like you're reading a magazine, and then you see the door open up, and the library would clear. Everybody from the library.
It's like it's open. We can go now.
Yeah. But we had
Yeah.
a lot of avenues, man. The Windsor Center was cool. I spent a lot of time down there swimming. I didn't play any sports in Winter. Well, I played basketball in the gym, but I didn't play any sports for like little league teams. So Mama told me if I couldn't play for the school, I couldn't play for anybody. So, but
Okay.
I just played a lot of. I played a lot. What we played ball, but my friends got to play the little league baseball. George, you played little league baseball?
I played for police. They had a team. I played on the police team. You know, young kids playing on the police team. They got us uniforms and
Yeah.
everything. But I don't think I never got to the bat though. I never hit a ball. When I tried out football, that first hit I got, I said, "Oh no, this ain't for me." No.
Okay.
When it had cleats, when it step on your little spots in your arms and stuff like that.
No.
No. I'm saying, I remember
I was
going to me. I
go
tried
ahead.
to give it to William. And I said, she said, I'm gonna teach we'll get you down there so you can learn how to swim. I said,
Hmm.
okay. She thing, this lady, she picked me up and threw me in the pool. That, that was it. No more swimming.
You like
Longer,
yeah,
but when you do stuff to go hurt me, no, no, that ain't gonna work.
yeah. Well, okay. So vacation Bible school in the
Yeah,
summertime, y'all. Okay, vacation Bible school. Did you
Hated it.
do that,
Hated it.
Justin? Huh?
Well, me and my buddy. I'm gonna call my buddy out, Michael Hammond. He's a friend of mine on Facebook today. We mama, his mother and my mother. He lived on Omaha Street. Mama used to take us to drop us off in front of the church. She would, as soon as she leave, we would leave. We would hang out. We would hang out for a couple hours. We would go to the golf course and get golf balls. We would walk through other neighborhoods, but we knew we had to be back to the church at a certain time because mom was coming to pick us up. So mom would let us out. And me and my boy, we would hit the road. As soon as the car get out of sight, we out of there.
See, do y'all remember Mama telling that story about Sammy the Who Bone the Po Bone Sammy? Okay.
I remember.
It
Oh
was
huh?
yeah,
about a little
yeah.
boy
I,
that was
I,
supposed
I
to be
remember
in
that.
church, and instead he went fishing. He caught a fish,
Yeah.
and then the fish, after he cooked the fish said, "I'm going back." So the fish took him while he was inside his stomach. Anyway, that's what that sounds like. Sammy the Who Bone the Po Bone Sammy. So yeah, you were supposed to be in church and you weren't. That's okay. All right, now you're confessing all these things,
Right.
brother Justin.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah.
We
Put
used
me
to go to
put me
church.
in
Well,
Put me in Bible school jail. Do that.
But yeah, you're gonna go to vacation Bible school jail. Okay.
Jail, yeah.
Yes. So
I
it,
Yeah.
papers the other day, and I still got my Bible school certificates and
you
stuff.
got your certificate from vacation Bible school.
Every year I got a certificate from Bible school.
I liked vacation Bible school. So
Yeah.
I don't know what was wrong with Justin. How come he didn't like vacation Bible school?
I, I was rebellion, man.
You were rebelling.
I was into having fun, man. Because I remember from out of school, I was at the park, Douglas Park, uh, weekends. I leave the house weekends, Douglas Park. No, there's no cell phone, so we would go to the park and we would wait for each other, and we would play basketball. Whatever's on TV is what we played. We would play the sun up, the sun down. I've seen many legs broke, arms broke. But we had a ball. But it was like we got hurt a lot.
Yeah, and
But it's what we
isn't
did.
it interesting to think there were no cell phones, that didn't have that community. There was no cell phone, no email, there was no texting. We were just it was all about just nature and time in it, and just being
Yeah,
natural about it,
yeah,
hanging out till your friend came. You didn't know when they were coming, but they said they were coming. So, it's not like you're going to text and say, "Hey, when you coming, man?" No, you just wait,
yeah, yeah.
like,
You just go to the
yeah.
park. You just go to the park and wait, and somebody would show up.
Mhm.
Then somebody else, then somebody else, then somebody else. Then we have enough to play whatever. And
Right.
that I was always good. That was always good. And I remember this lady that lived right across the street from the basketball court. Uh, her name was Hines. Mike, my good friend Mike Hines' aunt. They stayed across from the park, and we wasn't allowed to go in the house, but had access to the water fountain. Anytime we do anything in the park, we can go there and get water from the water fountain. But we couldn't from the water hose. The water
From the
hose.
water hose.
We drink from the hose. That was
Now,
yeah.
how about
That's
that?
how
How
we
about
lived.
that
We was
thing
outside.
where the rule was, right? If your mama wasn't home, nobody could come in your house.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
even when your mama was home, do you remember her like interrogating
Right.
the person if she hadn't seen them before? Like
Yeah.
you be like, "Ma, yeah, I got this new friend." And one be like, "Whoa, what's your name, little girl? Who your mama? Who your daddy? Do y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Where your
Yeah.
mama work?
I definitely remember
Where
that.
your daddy work?
Yeah.
What church y'all go to? Oh, and who you related to up here in Greensboro? Okay, yeah, okay." She would interrogate them.
And
Then
go
she
to
would go get on the phone. "Brooks, I got this girl in my house. Yeah, her last name Bonds. You know any Bonds? Oh, that her grandmama that sang in the choir. Oh, okay, yeah, okay." But she would, and if you didn't pass the test, Mama would say, "Okay, that girl can stay in my house today, but I don't want them people in my house no more." Did she ever say that to y'all? She'd say, "Get that girl out of my house."
why, why she talk like that? I mean, why she would?
She was like, she would do a background check. That's
Yeah.
why I
Yeah.
always say
Yeah.
that, you know, our mother should have been the border czar. She know who's coming
Okay.
in. My mother would know who these people are, and if they weren't right, she'd send them back. Okay, I'll come back now.
Yeah. Joel, do you remember catching crayfish in the creek? Did you ever do that?
Yeah, those little bitty. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that was cool. I used to walk the whole creek. I used to go through all the tunnels. We had like a tunnel that went under Junior Street to the other side of well, wasn't that long? Junior Street, from Junior Street to the dirt road, Omaha Street. That same, that tunnel
Okay.
that was right at
Right.
Junior Street, Omaha. There was a tunnel right there, and then if you go through the woods, going to Douglas Park, there's a big tunnel down there that you go under, like going to Douglas Street.
Yeah,
You see,
that's why I was trying
y'all
to
missed
fix my own tunnel. That's what I was trying to do, fix my own tunnel, but I never could get.
it.
I saw these tunnels, and I said, I didn't do a tunnel. Yeah, no, I couldn't do no tunnel.
You remember that tree house that y'all tried to build in the woods?
Yeah, that was a failure.
I always wanted a tree house. I didn't get a tree house though. I always
And them
wanted one.
guys said they tried to build a house. It was in trees that was at a triangle, and they was gonna door up the trees to make a house, then put a roof on top of the house, and for whatever purpose, it worked a little bit. I was little. I was like I said I was in amazement. They was doing it. They built things.
Yeah, well, build anything, we see it on TV, we try to build it. But
Yeah.
now the kids don't build. Like I was talking to somebody the other day, they took auto mechanics out of the schools, woodwork out of the schools, the electrician out of the
Home
schools,
ec.
home ec. But
Mhm.
now what? That's where
Yeah.
you learn your trade. But
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
they just turn them loose. I don't know what to say to them. Don't,
Yeah.
know. But we had a
Well,
lot of fun.
we're at the 30-minute mark. If
Okay.
when the podcasts are too long, people won't. They'll look at the time
Oh,
and say, three
right.
hours. I ain't watching this. So I like to
Okay,
try to
let me
keep
let,
it.
let me let, let, let me close up some last things. Douglas Park, man. We summertime they would break out the box hockey. Remember the box hockey, George? The one,
Yeah.
two, three. The box hockey, the tether ball,
Tetherball.
uh, uh,
What
the
was that
swings
game you
that you try
played
to
in
wrap
the
around.
little with the marbles and you moved? It was like an African
Oh,
game. Uh,
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it. I know
yeah,
what you're talking
I
about though.
enjoyed that.
Yeah, yeah, but they had the thing that you could the monkey bars, everything
Yeah.
that you had the opportunity to kill yourself on. It was so much
Yes,
fun.
yes. And here's the
I
thing too: is like your parents were not there. Like
Right.
we were on our
Right.
own. We were
Free.
just like when I go to the parks in New York, and I understand why it has to be in New York. The parent or somebody has to be. Every child, somebody has to be there. But we
Right.
were just on our own.
Go.
I remember being the same age as my oldest granddaughters, 9, 10. We were just on our own. We could walk to the park, walk home, play, get hurt, cry all the way home.
Man.
And okay,
Right.
wait, start over talking about the show wagon. What's the show wagon?
It's
Okay, the show.
I got out in the summertime, do entertainment. You get up there and you can sing or whatever you're doing. You want to feel like when you're a holler, you can get up
And
and
this was
holler.
in Douglas Park.
Douglas Park, yeah, because I remember this big tractor bringing it in. It's already put together, and you just get on the stage and have
They had a
fun.
microphone and everything,
I don't remember
or
no
you
Oh,
didn't need
I,
one.
I think that, I don't think it might have had microphones. 'Cause I know they still have a show wagon now. They pull around the different parks, but I remember it used to
Right,
come in Douglas Park because right now the
right,
basketball court is all fenced off. But back in the day, they just bring that show wagon on the court, and the park director they would actually have an itinerary for who was going and who had signed up for the show wagon.
Oh,
And in that particular day in the park, they would have it was kind of like the Olympics, but they had the box hockey competitions, the tetherball competitions, and the board games. They had competitions in the park at that time. And the director would be an older teenager that would just they would come down and they would bring the key, and everybody wait for them to open the key. They'd use the key and open up the box, and the box would just have all these games, toys,
I
horseshoes,
remember the box with all the
the
games and
whole
toys in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the show wagon. But they did that. That was our recreation. The park director show up, that's what it was about to open the box up and you would just sign. Well, I don't think he had to sign it. She just passed. He or she passed out
right.
whatever you wanted, and you just have next up, and you play next up, and you went on. That was how the day went. And some days the sandwich truck would come and give out
Yeah.
sandwiches, bring the
I
lunches,
okay. The sandwich truck.
lunches,
Yeah.
lunches, and I remember, and I'm going back in my dark side. I remember one time I don't know why they did. I don't know why they did this. They brought down a bus and they took us to the bowling alley.
Oh
They had to put
wow.
us out of the bowling alley. They took us to the bowling alley as a field trip. We was throwing balls in the wrong rows because we
Now,
had
did
never
your
left the
parents
park.
know you were going to the bowling alley?
I think we had to have a permission slip.
Oh, okay, okay.
But they took that was the first trip with my peers outside the neighborhood, other than being my family, with my peers. And they took us to the bowling alley. Now I had never seen anything like that
Oh
before.
wow. What
My first opportunity, I
any
was always out the door.
any other special things that y'all remember as fun and recreation before we close up? Just Joel, do you have a first of all, what was your favorite toy or your favorite toy during your childhood that you remember playing with or
I had a train set. I remember having a
train
train
set?
set.
Yeah,
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 he did. He did.
yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
I know
Oh, yeah.
Justin talked about on another podcast, he talked about his G.I. Joe men
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
his, what do you call it? Those little box cars? Is that what they're called?
Hot
Oh,
Hot
Wheels.
Wheel
Hot
cars.
Wheels.
oh,
Hot Wheel cars,
yeah.
yeah. My favorite toy, the best gift I ever got ever was a bride doll she looked like Pearl Bailey, but it was a tall bride doll. She was black and she was just amazing. That was the best gift I ever remember getting. I love playing with her. Of course, we played with the dolls. Of course, the Easy Bake and all that stuff. We had
Right. Right.
from Sears,
Yeah.
Roebuck.
Yes, there's Roebuck.
So
Okay, so I guess saying that, I guess I was kind of the daredevil of the crew then, huh?
you were, you
I
were. Yeah.
guess I was.
I don't know. Joel was pretty. Joel was
Yeah,
pretty.
but
Did some. I don't know. He did some things that you got to sit back and wonder, what was he thinking, man? Why did he think that was going to work?
it's like the table. I had that thing on Superman.
Yeah.
I thought
Yes, we were fearless.
we
We
had
were
a lot of
fearless.
fun. Good,
Okay.
good.
So
Oh, you know what? And I don't want to draw that, but I remember was one thing talk about the church program. I remember Mama one time she's always put me in church programs, but I never went to in rehearsals. But she'd always bring me a part home, so I would memorize my part, but I never knew who I was talking to or whatever I do. I would just say my lines.
you just knew the lines.
I knew the lines, but I didn't know who I was talking to. Now I remember one time Joel told me after the play, he said, "Man, we said a letter, but everybody said the letter what the letter meant, and you're supposed to hold the letter up, and it's supposed to spell something." And I remember Joel telling me after the play, everybody after we read, we put the letters down, but we supposed to been spelling like Thanksgiving or love or peace or whatever. But everybody's when they say the part, it's like. anyway, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, these are
Anyway.
some of our memories about fun and games and recreation. Of course, there are many more. And like always, when we finish the podcast, then we go, oh, yeah, I remember. Oh, wow, I wish I had said this. I wish I had told them about this. And so we'll probably do a part 2 to this as well. But we're so grateful that Jewel is joining us today. And so anybody want the last word or a last memory? Or, I want to thank everybody for watching and for supporting
Go
us.
ahead, Joel. On the right way. Go ahead, Joel.
Yes. So, Joel.
I just want to thank y'all for having on the broadcast. I rigged me up a stand, got a piece of wood, and got my phone in this hole, like the things you fish for wood. Got that foam up.
So you set up your studio. Well, you're looking good over there, bro. You're looking good.
I couldn't throw it one, so I picked up something. So I got some duct tape on it holding it. What it was a thing you put on your computer to hold your phone. But I found a stand, got some duct tape, and put it around there.
And now you got a video studio.
This is my video
You have
studio.
to. Well, you do look real good. You trying to almost putting us to shame, actually. Well, we love you, brother. We love you, Justin. Anybody want to say? Because I'm gonna wrap it up then. If y'all, no. Thank you so much. We love you all. God bless. Have a blessed week. Peace now. Bye bye.